You know, this past weekend was absolutely amazing as well as devastating. Let me tell you a quick story. So you guys know this last weekend I was at Reefapalooza, New York. And before I left, I had a ton of things I needed to do, including the past 2 videos that you guys watched. I filmed those both the day before I left, as well as I needed to prepare my talk. In one of those videos, I set up the saltwater aquarium, everything in one day. Again, just really busy, wanted to get ahead, wanted to make sure that those that couldn't come still had videos to watch while I'm gone. By the way, the lionfish is doing absolutely amazing. One thing you'll notice directly beside the tank is the lid that we made. Weighs about 60 pounds. No way, absolutely no way that snowflake eel could jump out. But in my haste and rushing and trying to get ready and having so many things to remember, I think you know where this is going. I got a message the following day from my wife saying, this is what I woke up to. The snowflake eel was on the floor. We all know they jump. I've shown you guys many times, they jump. I made such a small mistake, entirely my fault, and the poor guy jumped out of the tank. I feel horrible about it. That's how I started off my morning at Reefapalooza. I still had to give my talk. This is how it went. In about 20 minutes, my talk is scheduled to start. I gotta start heading over there. I grab my laptop. I'm nervous, always nervous to give this talk. I'm about to pour my heart out. Yo, so many of you guys came from all over the world to see me. People came from India, Canada, all over the United States, flying in. I gotta say, I absolutely appreciate that kind of support and love. It's reciprocated, of course. However, it certainly makes me nervous. No pressure, right? No pressure for this talk. All right, running in now. Gonna do a quick mic check. I'm coming. I'm coming. Is there lots of people in there? No?
Yes. It's standing room only, just for you.
You guys always set records for these things when I show up. Absolutely phenomenal. Let's see how this goes. Oh boy. Oh boy. Let's take a look. My man Christian in the back. So, hopefully this goes well, guys. See what happens.
Have you seen this?
Now my wife was actually supposed to come on the trip with me, but things came up so she had to stay home. With that said, my talk was actually at 2:30. At around 3 o'clock, my phone's in my pocket, I could feel it start vibrating. Either some notifications from the gallery or a text message. Those are really the only 2 things that'll make my pocket vibrate. Now I was only scheduled to talk for an hour, and I didn't even use that entire hour. I think it was like 35 minutes, 40 minutes, we did a Q&A, and then of course for about an hour or 2 afterwards, I did some meet and greets with you guys. Absolutely loved the entire experience. However, I finally had an opportunity to check out what was going on in my pocket. No text messages, but I did have a ton of emails telling me nothing is communicating with your phone anymore from the gallery. You guys know that my pumps, my lights, and I also have cameras out here that I can remotely control and view from my phone. I thought, okay, maybe the internet is out. Or perhaps they're doing maintenance up the street or something and it's just a temporary thing. I text my wife and say, hey, is the internet okay for you? She says, I'm not home. I'll be home in about 30 minutes. I said, cool. When you get home, check the gallery, make sure everything's fine. Then my phone goes nuts about 30 minutes later, and it's her. She needs to FaceTime me, and it's an emergency. I FaceTime her, and she starts showing me this. She was walking through like 6 inches of water, 3 inches of water. The entire gallery was flooded. And the thing is, I have a floor drain, but I plugged it because of the damn mice outside. I told her to calm down, find out what's leaking. She says there's no lights out here. The power's gone. She's like, I don't know what to do. Fantastic. I haven't shown her anything because she doesn't really have much interest in being out here. I'm always in control out here and everything is typically running smoothly. But of course, the one weekend I leave, a pipe bursts on the return for the 2,000-gallon aquarium. Really though, it was just a pond hose that broke and essentially snapped off. And now the way that I designed this tank is that even if it has half the amount of water in it that it needs, the filtration can continue to run. It can continue to suck water out and pump it back in, but that's not what was happening. For about half an hour or so, it was sucking water out of the tank and pumping it onto the floor. About 1,000 gallons worth. Unfortunately, there were a few things on the floor that tripped the entire building. Everything offline, period. No power, no filtration, no life support systems running, absolutely nothing, and about this much water on the floor out here. I'm trapped in New York. I immediately jump on my phone and try to book flights to get home right away. I'm thinking it's a 2-hour flight. I gotta be there 2 hours early. I can be there by midnight. I can save this. No flights till the next day. Whew, if it's not hard enough being me and trying to convince my family that, hey, all of this is normal, don't worry about it, just let me do it. Now I have to ask her to fix one of the most devastating occurrences that the gallery and really my hobby has ever had. So I tell her first things first. What I need you to do is start shop vacuuming everything up. Before you do that, open the control panel and slap all of the power off. I don't want it jumping back on, or maybe something will happen. Worst case scenario, you get a little shock, and by little, I mean it'll electrocute you. Shut all the power off and shop vac. Luckily, I have some friends that came over and helped her. They had 2 shop vacs going. 3 hours later, she messaged me and says, all the water's gone, what next? Pretty simple. Walk her through all of the walls. I need you to reset the breakers, go on the panel, flip that over, but unplug everything to the 2,000 gallon aquarium. The only thing that's going to be able to run until I get home is the air, but with 2,000 gallons of water in here, or at least 1,000 gallons, plenty of dilution, they'll be fine. It's like an extended power outage, and the water's going to be heated, just not filtered. They'll be fine. So everything's back up and running. In the 2,000 gallon aquarium, we have 5 freshwater stingrays and 4 Asian arowana. Not a big problem. This is getting a do-over immediately. It's not going to look like this anymore. I have a plan. Anyways, Asian arowana can be aggressive with each other, trying to kill each other at times. But based on the size of the aquarium, the fact that there was 4 and there's a massive amount of room in here, they're getting along fantastically. But like I said, we lost 1,000 gallons of water to the floor. There's only 2,000 gallons of an aquarium. That's half the tank. Half the aquarium drained, leaving them with half the territorial space. What happened next? All hell broke loose. Okay, so now I want you to take a look at the guy in the back. Notice his fins, if you can see them. The lights are off in here right now. I've been keeping them off for the time being, just to try to dilute some aggression and whatnot, but look at him. Fins are perfect. Look at this guy. What the hell has he gone through? Wait for the other one to come around, the 2 reds. Same thing, all ripped up. This guy beat up the other 2. But remember I said there was 4? I came home to not only the tank half empty and I have to replace the pipes and, you know, get things back up and running, but one of the arowana, the Scriptus specifically, was dead. Now, it's never fun losing a fish. It's never fun losing a big fish. It's never fun losing a very expensive and rare fish. Luckily, I was nowhere clear to being attached to that fish. As heartless as it sounds, there's so many fish in here, it's really difficult for me to build individual bonds with them. I love them all, but it was nothing like when I lost Buddy. With that said, it's still such a devastating occurrence, a nice wake-up call, and being a public figure such as myself with so many people watching, and I have to share these experiences. I have to. What do I do from now, though? Where do I go from here? Well, as the saying goes, you never really fail, you only ever learn. So this is a great learning experience and a fantastic opportunity to make this never happen again. Of course, if things can happen, they will happen. Freak occurrences happen. We all have our houses. What if a water pipe bursts? There's nothing we could do about it. These things happen, and that's kind of what happened to me. A pipe busted. Or a hose busted, a pond hose, very, very thick. But it happened. I need to make some changes. I need to make sure nothing like this is to happen again. Luckily, my wife was here. Luckily, my friends were able to come. Luckily, I was able to communicate and get everything back up and going. Unfortunately, the 2000 sitting empty for so long, like 24 hours or so, actually probably a little bit more, 36 hours, I couldn't get a flight to the very next day. That was the fastest I could do it. Cost me $1,000 to book it, but what am I gonna do? With that said, everybody's okay. I know you're probably gonna ask about Frank. These guys' lights aren't on either. Look at Frank peering from the side. Frank's girlfriend and then Frank, both are doing fine. Don't worry about it. Oh, the sharks are doing great as well, eating. If you follow me on Instagram, I've been doing some feedings on there and sharing all of this other stuff there. I even revealed Frank's girlfriend's name there yesterday. I just have fun there and, you know, short clips and whatnot. But the sharks are doing fine. They're eating, and every time I add food, we're gonna do a feeding video eventually. I'll feed every fish in here. I'm thinking maybe I'll hand feed every fish that I have, except maybe these guys. I don't know. Maybe I will. They spend most of their time just over here. No lights on this tank at all. But they're doing just fine. When I drop in food, they go after it. They eat it all. It's awesome. Love this tank. Love these sharks. Anyways, guys, things happen to the best of us, and you know, at the end of the day, when you do have some problems or you do have something that happens in your hobby, try to take from it as opposed to run from it, I guess. I'll see you guys again on Sunday when we make some massive changes to this 2000. I think that's what we're gonna do. We'll see.